Welcome back, everybody, to another episode of Candid Convos with Get Staffed Up. Brett Tremblay here today, and I'm very excited to have a good friend, somebody that I admire a lot. She is a kick butt, take names type of gal, and is a real big mover and shaker. So Jenny Bradley with Triangle Smart Divorce. Jenny, welcome, and tell us a little bit more about yourself.
Thanks, Brett. I can't make myself sound better than you just did. Anyway, yep, Jenny Bradley, Triangle Smart Divorce in Cary, North Carolina. I've owned this law firm since 2017 when I decided I wanted to own my own shop and do stuff my own way. So that's what we do. We help smart people avoid stupid mistakes when getting divorced.
I like it. I also like only working with smart people. That's helpful, right?
It is helpful. I mean, we can all be our worst enemies for sure, especially in times of stress.
Yeah.
But if you have good logical based decision thinkers and those types of folks, it makes your life a lot easier.
For sure. Now, so tell me, I guess you were practicing law before 2017, but you didn't own your own firm. So tell us a little bit about that.
Yeah, so I got out of law school in 1998. Getting so old, I can't remember now. Started working for someone else, a small law firm, 3 lawyers in the firm at that time. Within the first year, one of the lawyers left, one of the partners left. So then it was 2 partners and me. And then in 2005, another partner left. So then it was 1 partner and me. And then he merged his practice with a bunch of folks doing family law in Wake County that I'm currently still in. And I went with him as an associate, left there in 16 and became law partners, 06. Good grief, Jenny. Left there in 06 and became partners with some other folks in the same county, city area that I've worked in, and did that until 16 when I found how to manage a small law firm, the coaching group you and I know each other from.
Yeah.
And naively thought that I was going to stay in how to manage a small law firm and then do my own thing and be a partner, because we were kind of eat what you kill partnership, but that didn't last. So after a year of that, I said, heck with it. I'm gonna start my own firm, market who I want to market to, do it my way, work with who I want to work with, be able to refuse C, D, and F clients instead of having to take everything that came in the door. So it's where we are. Haven't grown quite as rapidly as you putting the pedal to the metal, but we're getting bigger.
Oh, well, that's probably not true. My first 2 years were a big struggle. I've been very open about that until I finally started reading books and getting help and getting coaches. Huge believer in that. I mean, look, you're a Tar Heel, right? Or
right.
And at least Michael Jordan didn't win 3 NBA championships and then say, you know what? I don't need a coach anymore. We don't need Phil Jackson. Like you're never done learning. And so even coaches have coaches, and even at the top, they're reading and they're learning every day. And if you're in a growth mindset, that's what's going to help you, get out of, if you're stuck. And I think that's important. Now, we don't only, work with, and probably the people listening aren't all entrepreneurs. There's just lawyers at law firms, and they're thinking to themselves, hey, I need an executive assistant, right? So we do offshore virtual staffing. We have legal secretaries, intake coordinators, receptionists, client happiness directors, personal assistants, executive assistants, marketing assistants. And this can work for anybody. And I mean, not everyone just kind of like gets it and has the aha moment, but sometimes people do. But when they don't, I'm trying to explain, look, this is not about replacing jobs. This is about adding more bandwidth to your firm. This is about having some better margins at some point so you can breathe a little bit and not constantly be worried about payroll. And it's about doing better for your clients and passing on all the things you can do when you have more people around to delegate to, and you can focus on how do I get more A and B clients.
Totally. One of the first lessons I learned when I opened my own practice was you got to leverage your time and you got to leverage technology. And I think that's true whether you're a lawyer, a doctor, any sort of person. doing any sort of job. I mean, the guys in my neighborhood this week, they're putting a roof on a new house, and you can see how they're using technology, just to make it easier for them not to have to go up and down the ladder 30 times, right? And they figured out how to devise this really cool winching system that's probably something somebody's been using forever, but theirs looked fancier to me because it had a little motor on it instead of having to be hand pulled up.
Yeah, that's funny. And so, I mean, that's the same thing, right? You figure out a way to save a little bit of time, and which is money, and then you put that to use in your business.
Yeah. And like you said, funny you mentioned Phil Jackson. That's the book I just started reading last night, is 11 Rings by Phil Jackson. So me and you, always on the sports.
Always, always. See, I didn't even know. I mean, I'm sure I knew he wrote books, but I haven't heard of that one yet. But fascinating guy for sure. Let me ask you this. So, speaking of technology, some people have this opinion, I guess, and let's be fair, right? Coronavirus has taken a lot of this away for us and for good for other people. But I can't work with someone who's not in my office. I need him right there. What technology do you use to make sure that you're efficient with somebody that doesn't work in your office?
Yeah, so right now we're working with a marketing assistant that's through your company, Get Staffed Up. And she's obviously not in the office. She's offshore. She's in Mexico. And she is a big Slack user. And so, I had messed around with Slack a little bit. Honestly, I didn't like it that much because I found it to be too distracting because it was like always coming in and always, but that's what she likes to use. So I said, okay, well, make me a video, show me how to use it, show me how to be efficient with it, and let's agree what we're going to use it for. And you set up the channels based upon what we're going to be doing, and let's try to keep our conversations in the proper channels. And so, if she just wants to tell me something and she shared something she found on the internet that she thought was cool that doesn't have anything to do with marketing my business, but might be about business tips or something like that, she'll put it in a channel that's for that. And then she's got a channel that's called Ideas that doesn't send me notifications. So she just drops ideas in there all day long as she thinks of them, and then I can look at them at my convenience. But the other thing is, and I got this from you too, man, I think, we do a 9:07 huddle in the morning. And so that's virtual. We have a couple of team members who are still working from home in the States. I mean, in my city, in my hometown.
Yeah.
And so we do that. And we got a conference room camera about 3 weeks ago called a Candid that we put in the middle of the conference room, and it stitches in like a panoramic view of everybody that's in the conference room. And then individual pictures of those of us who are speaking, and it picks up who's speaking when. And so it'll switch the main speaker between stuff. So you can use it in Zoom, you can use it in Google Meetups, you can use it in, I think Facebook allows you to use it now in their thing that they're doing. I don't know if Outlook's Teams is compatible with it or not, but that's been cool because instead of having one laptop at the morning huddle for those of us that are in person kind of passing it around.
Yeah.
Now those of us are socially distanced in our big conference room, and we have this one thing, and we can look at the TV and we can see everybody on there.
So, and going back to huddles, what we tell our clients is, look, this is not someone who's offshore, so out of sight, out of mind. They need to be part of your team. Put them on the website, make them do a headshot in front of a green screen, just hang up a green sheet. Make sure they have the right, technology, which we work with our clients on. And make sure they're part of your morning huddles and part of your weekly meetings and part of your retreats and do Zoom happy hours, whatever it is, make people feel a part of the team. That's how you're going to get really good buy-in and loyalty, and somebody that you feel like you're basically stealing because you have a marketing assistant, and the price difference, from here to what we're doing is very stark. And so, you have the bandwidth and the wherewithal to take on projects. All the ideas that she's putting in the idea channel on Slack. I mean, what I loved about it is I can have somebody say, you know what, let's try that. But it's not so expensive, because when you're paying someone in the US, if it takes them 3 weeks to get back to you on something like a big project, that's a lot of time and money that you just lost. So there's just so many benefits.
Yeah, and you're totally right about including them. She's on when we have a firm email distribution list, she's on the firm email distribution list. Like we said, the huddle, she's Mostly it's just me and her on Slack. Nobody else in the law firm uses Slack. You can get on me about that later. But, you know, it's been really great. She's been whooping my butt, getting stuff done. Like I had a stack of 9 marketing collateral pieces I had to review yesterday that had been piling up for like a week and a half. And there's no way I could have put that out myself when I was being my own marketing assistant.
Yeah. Yeah. And that you were, right? Because if you don't
Right.
have an assistant, you are an assistant.
Right.
And you cannot argue that fact. And so
No.
it just like the amount of things, and not just the amount of things you can get done with a good marketing assistant, but a lot of us have a million new ideas all the time, but it's very daunting to have all these ideas. And again, a lot of them aren't going to work. Some of them you're going to say, you know, that wasn't such a good idea a week later. But it would give me a pit in my stomach when I would think about 3 good ideas in a row and like, but how am I going to get them done? So I'm like, well, let me go to my calendar. Let me rearrange everything so I can get all this important work done and create 2 days where I can go away myself and get all this marketing done. It's like, why put yourself through that when you can bring on help and that's why we call it delegate your way to freedom. Because sometimes you can make yourself do everything if you get on a roll, but it's not going to last. You know, you're going to run out of steam, and without somebody to delegate to, it's like the proverbial shelf where things just stack up. And I use that analogy all the time. You literally had a stack of 9 things, right?
Right.
My mental shelf used to be so full of ideas. It just was so daunting to think one day I'll get to that.
Yeah, that, and then all the stuff I had to learn about that I didn't need to learn about, right? I just needed to hire someone who already knew how to do it. I mean, I'm shooting my own video. I figured out how to clip them. I figured out how to convert bit rate, you know, and all this other stuff that I was like, what am I even doing this for? It'd take me 5 minutes to shoot a video. It'd take me 2 hours to edit it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what am I doing? I could be doing client work. I could be, you know, hell, I could be on a beach. I could be whatever, not now, but
or shooting a bunch more videos. I shoot a video and I'm done with it. I don't touch anything from there. And that's the beauty of, wow, I really can exponentially increase my output when I've got other people doing things for me. And by the way, at my law firm, we've got everybody on a WhatsApp channel. So, you know, they get to see the inside jokes and the memes. And I think that helps people, and the pictures of everyone's kids. And that really makes people feel a part of the firm as well.
we have that with Facebook. It's called Meme Team, and that's the group name for the team. But my marketing assistant is not on Facebook, so maybe I need to investigate the WhatsApp.
Interesting. Yeah. Well, you don't want too many different types of technology, right? Like I to consolidate. I don't love Slack either. I'm kind of like you in that regard, but whatever works. I mean, I think the point is that with technology and then what's called geographic arbitrage, you know, like in Miami, I used to pay $60,000 a year when you include, because whatever you're paying someone, it's at least at a minimum 25% more is what the cost is to the business. So if you're paying, just to use round numbers, if you're paying someone, you know, $10,000 a year, you have to tack on 2,500. So all in, I was about 60, and through Get Staffed Up, it's closer to 20 round numbers. I mean, that's just such a huge difference that you can do other things in your business and have more time and more freedom.
Right. Or hire 2 assistants, right? Because like the next thing coming off my plate is executive assistant, which some of that's difficult for some of the things I want someone to do for somebody that's not in person. Because selfishly, I want to be able to say, hi, my car needs inspection, and some personal type things too. But maybe the executive assistant finds the local service that will handle that, you know?
I have a solution. Get an intern a few days per week.
There you go.
I'm serious, because kids need to be around people like you that own a business, right? Find a girl and inspire her to own her own business someday. And it sounds like she'll be doing the dirty work, but she'll be learning from you. So you still sometimes need that person in-house to say, hey, I need all our cars washed. The conference room needs to be clean and ready, whatever it is. I had those jobs, and we still have in-house interns, but your personal executive assistant they're the ones doing the dinner reservations, the flights, and all that important stuff. And they have all the folders and all the credit cards and all the things that you need as your personal.
Cool. I'll check it out. It is
Yeah.
a good time to get an intern because pretty much everybody's going to have to go back to online learning. We tried in person in the good Tar Heel State, but University of North Carolina is shipping everybody home now and going online.
Jenny, thank you so much for jumping on. I mean, the thing you and I always end up talking about sports, and we talk about entrepreneurship and leadership. And so I admire you, what you're doing. You know, you could have stayed where you were in the previous firm, but you wanted to live your own life. And I just love that. And so thank you for jumping on and helping other people learn from what you're doing.
Sure. And thank you for having this idea with Enrique to do Get Staffed Up, because it's helping a ton of us grow even faster because we're getting more bandwidth.
Yeah, that's exactly what the goal is. I love hearing that, you know. Awesome. Jenny, thank you. You have a good one. Stay safe up there, all right?
All right, Brett, you too.
Okay, take care.